Mr. Speaker.
I call the Honourable Member Melissa Lee. Annyeonghaseyo.
Annyeonghaseyo, Mr. Speaker. It's a great pleasure to rise to support in the second reading of this bill. So before I get on with my contribution, I just would like to make a comment. It's lovely to actually see the passion in Mr. Goff's speech, and we have seen that in the Select Committee and in the House. I just wish he was as passionate when he was responsible for the Treasury benches, when the Labour Party was in the position of government in the 9 years that they were government. I mean, he basically says now that he is in opposition with passionately, why does not this national government do something about it? Well, he had the opportunity. He was actually the minister. He could have really done something about it, but he did not. Now that he is in opposition, he can throw stones. Sir, the men and women who serve in our defence forces now and in the past for freedom and democracy need to be recognised for their sacrifices they have actually made. And I'm a recipient of those sacrifices, having actually met lots of Korean veterans who have come back from the war. They were injured. There were people who have actually died during the Korean War. And having been born in Korea, grew up with the knowledge that we must be grateful for the sacrifices, the ultimate sacrifices the veterans have actually paid with their lives in a conflict, in a war that actually divided my birth country, sir. We owe a great debt to our veterans, and this national-led government is committed to honouring their service and to better meet the needs of older veterans who need help to maintain their homes and veterans of modern-day deployment, sir. This bill does have many of the same provisions as the current Act. The criteria for service eligibility will stay the same as will healthcare treatment, except accepted conditions will continue to be funded. No veteran will have their entitlements reduced, and in fact thousands will benefit from increased care and support. That has to be better, sir. It has been quite a process to rewrite a 60-year-old act, an act that was designed to deal with the physical risk associated with deployment, but did not actually cover the psychological and environmental risks that veterans actually face. The Law Commission's findings after reviewing the Act stated that the Act was outdated and unwieldy and no longer fitted the needs of the veterans it served. And this amendment, this Veterans Support Bill, actually fixes that. There are two schemes. Scheme 1 comes into force July 1 this year until July 1st, 2015 to cover all veterans as a transitional measure. After that, Scheme 1 will apply to veterans with service to World War II, to Vietnam War. The entitlements will be based on what is already available with some improvements. Such as a veteran is under the age of retirement and unable to work, they will receive a higher rate of income compensation than is now available. The rate paid will be passed based on 80% of the average wage, an increase of about $200 gross for most of the recipients. Scheme 2 covers veterans with service since 1974, when ACC was actually introduced and comes into force July 1 next year, sir. In 2015, there will also be changes to the eligibility criteria for accessing support services such as home help and lawn mowing. So this is a bill that the Select Committee considered very carefully. I do understand the passion behind Mr. Goff's speech, and most of us in some way understand where that passion comes from, because we do all support the veterans who have actually paid greatly through their service, in service of their country and the people. And we appreciate their participation in battles overseas with the New Zealand flag on their chest, serving our nation proudly. But this is a great improvement from the 1954 Act, which is totally outdated, and it is a great improvement, and I believe it is something that the veterans have been waiting for. Thank you, sir.
I call the Honourable Member Ian Lees-Galloway.
Thank you.